Hi everyone, this is Claire at Dentaltoaster. Today we have Laura. Laura is a dentist and I met her in a conference, but she also does many cool things. She's very into well-being, and I thought she could share a lot to our RVH out there, especially our young grads or any of us who has been working 10, 20 years as well, because there's a lot of things that goes on, not just with our physical body, with our emotion as well. And Laura is really an expert in that. So thank you for being here today.
I'm so happy to be here, Claire, and very happy to know you too. You're a wonderful resource for our hygienists.
Yes. Well, tell us a little bit more about you, where you are, and the practice you have.
Okay. Um, so I graduated from dental school in 2007 in Iowa, where I'm from. I was a dental assistant before going to
Really?
dental school. So I feel like it helps me have a little
Mm.
extra
Yeah, yeah.
understanding of what it means to be allied professional
Right.
in dentistry.
Uh-huh.
And ever since I graduated, I've owned the same practice
Mm.
very close to my hometown. And I have 6 employees. I just added an associate dentist, and I have 3 hygienists.
All right. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
sure you have lots of experience to share with us about working with hygiene. I mean, with your experience, yeah, as a assistant as well, it really brings it together, gives you that team perspective versus, me, dentist, this is what I do.
Mhm.
Lovely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're going to
Mhm.
soon talk about, what do you do and also the websites you have. But Laura, I just want to, ask you as the dentist, as the practice owner, what do you see? What are the things that you like to see in a hygienist that works with you?
Okay, so attributes of a hygienist
Yeah,
that are,
gold star.
yeah, okay. Oh, that's a great question. Um, Hygienists can really make or break a practice,
Mm-hmm.
because the hygienist is really the one who carries the relationship with the patient. I would love to say that I'm close to all of my patients,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't spend as much time with them as the hygienist can.
Mm-hmm.
So number one is communication skills, and especially the ability for a hygienist to listen and really hear what a patient is telling them.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when we're health professionals, we want so much to be right and to be heard that we're not stepping back and taking a moment to really understand what patients are saying. And I tell you what, when a patient feels understood, they are never leaving that practice. And they're also going to take your advice. So if I have a hygienist who takes the time to listen to my patients and then takes the time next to really document in the way that I have asked
Mm-hmm.
hygienists, there are male hygienists, so um, but the documentation, that takes a amount of detail orientation and systematizing her her appointment, because my hygienists take a photo of every single tooth at every appointment. And what that means is that the patient gets this opportunity to co-discover what is happening in his or her mouth
Mm-hmm.
with a hygienist who already has a relationship with them.
I totally agree with you that communication skills, listening especially, because as a hygienist, honestly, what I do, and I'm going to use the word throw up, I just throw up everything I want the patients to know. So you have this, you have that, we can do this, but
Mm-hmm.
being heard is more important.
Yeah. Besides that, it's just really nice to have someone, my hygiene team, all 3 of them, they know how to jump in and help wherever help is needed.
Okay.
So if they don't have a patient who shows up, I have a couple who like to come up to the front desk and help input insurance checks. I have one who likes helping in the back with sterilization.
Mhm.
They know that their time is valuable, and so they use their time to their utmost ability, whether they're seeing patients or not. And I have to say that when we started doing it like this, what I found is that we didn't have a hygiene team and a back office team and a front office team anymore. We just had the team.
Okay. Wow.
And that was really amazing too.
So everybody's flexible in your office like that.
Yes, and that took some effort. We all had to make sure that we were cross-trained on everything we're legally allowed to do in
Mhm,
another person's role. So,
mhm,
for example, if my two assistants are busy, maybe one's making a crown and one's taking photos, and I've got a patient that we decided to add a filling in,
mhm,
a hygienist can come across the hall and hold the suction for me and
mhm,
help me finish out that filling.
mhm,
That's just an example.
mhm. That must have been, yeah, a lot of coaching for you as well, because not every, I mean, we don't, honestly, as a hygienist too, we don't graduate thinking we're going to do front desk or, I barely know how to help a dentist suction, so, okay, I understand now. Flexibility is also important. As hygienists, we might think my role is like helping the patient have better, like, oral care, but, at the end, you need to help the office as well. Mm.
Yes, I will tell you that when a dentist finds a helpful hygienist, that is like a gem. We love that.
Yes, and we all want to be that, hopefully, right?
Exactly. You don't go into hygiene unless you're wanting to help.
Right.
It's a hard profession. It's hard on your body.
Mhm.
It can be hard on your mind because you're like the
Yeah.
middle person and you're like, does the doctor like what I'm doing? Does the
Mhm.
patient like what I'm doing? But you're doing that because you want to help.
Mhm. Okay.
So if you don't have a dentist who's suggesting to you to learn those things,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
hygienist can say, I want to be more helpful. What's some things that I can do secondarily when my patient
Right.
doesn't show up?
And I bet when you hear that in the interview, that makes you feel great, right? You're like, yeah, you hired.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tips, guys, if you are going for an interview, saying things like that, I'm willing to help with the office, whenever time I can, be at the front desk, or I'm willing to be trained, and I can take pictures of every single tooth for every
Hmm.
appointment. I bet the dentists love that as well.
Hmm.
Good. Okay, so that's great tips for interview as well. Woo! Now, Laura, can we talk about things that, like, as a dentist and an owner, you're like, oh, I wish a little less of that, please. I know those are hard questions, and I'm just throwing those at you. But I thought I could have an honest
Yeah,
conversation
I
with
don't know.
you.
Yeah. All right, let me think about that for a minute.
Yeah. Well, while you think about that, you know what? I can actually show your website to our
Okay.
audience as well. I don't want to, I know I just like put this on you all of a sudden, but I just wanted to show you what Laura also does is this website is called the Life Coach for Busy Dentist.com. And you can see that she talks about many different things, but in this emotional coaching as well. And it's not just about dentistry, you also have weight loss. So,
Hmm.
I'm sure some of us, could, it's because weight loss, I mean, it's also very emotional, right? It's not,
It's,
yeah.
yes, it has a lot to do with what's happening in your mind.
Can you tell us just a little bit more about that?
Sure.
Mhm,
So, with the weight loss program that I have,
mhm,
basically what's happened in our food supply,
mhm,
and hygienists know this too because it affects our teeth and our gums. Our food supply right now is not natural. And one of the things that's happened is we end up eating food that makes our brains want more food, more than what our bodies really need. And my program helps people switch back to what our bodies are designed to eat. And in that way, our appetites go back to what our body needs, and then we lose weight that way.
I see, I see. And is there a certain type of food that is like that kind of food that makes your brain trick to want more?
Yes, basically anything that a factory made for you.
Okay.
So if factory made
Processed
it,
or
it says if it comes in a little bag that you buy in a vending machine, if it's made from any type of ground down or
okay.
ultra concentrated form, then
Mm,
your brain doesn't know what to do with that. It's called a supernormal stimulus. Have you heard of this term?
no, I haven't heard
It's
this.
outside of what your brain even
Too much,
understands.
yeah.
Evolutionarily speaking, the brain does not know what to do with sugar or flour.
You're right.
So when you eliminate those, your brain goes back to wanting the normal amounts of food,
Mm,
and your blood sugar gets much more regular, and so then you're not getting hangry.
I see. I love that scientific approach about it's not like eat more salad, it's like there's actually a reason for that. Our brain is designed that way. And obviously I love the brain. But it is true that back in the days, our body, I mean, we didn't know what flour was. It didn't exist until recently. It wasn't available like this at a cheap cost
Correct.
like this.
Yes.
All right. It makes sense because our body, I mean, if I look at the evolution of the brain, we actually live in like the Stone Age, actually, still. We haven't evolved
Correct.
so much from then, so that this makes sense to me as also a food perspective.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Great. So this is, Dr. Laura, and your last name is Mach.
Correct.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Great. So, you can contact her through this website, and she also has her own podcast. It's all called Feeling Good, so I just feel good just saying it out loud.
I know.
It's feeling good. So guys, if you have a day, or if you're a dentist, kind of you think they can use a little help, just say, hey, I saw this interview and Claire and Laura's there, and there's something called Feeling Good. Why don't you check it out? So I encourage everybody to go here. It's again, the life coach for busydentists.com.
Yep.
And I'm sure you can Google her name as well, Laura Mach, and you'll be able to find that.
Yeah.
All right. So now back to our difficult question. I know. Is there something you're like, I wish you could have helped me more with this, or things like that?
Yeah. So one thing that I find difficult, so as a leader and the owner of the practice, I am always having lots of things happening in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking, what does the staff think of this? What are my patients thinking? Mm-hmm. I have payroll to make. I want to make sure everyone's well paid there. And I have all these things that I'm worried about. And sometimes when I hear a hygienist or another team member do something different than what I want them to, I have one of those conflicts in my mind, because I want the team member to change what they're doing, but I also don't want to make them feel bad. And I want them to take my advice and really change what they're doing. And so I have had over the years many employees, and the ones who sit down and really hear what I'm saying without taking it personally, without trying to explain to me why they did things that way, it's so much easier for me to help them be their best self. Does that make sense?
Yes. I totally understand. As a business owner too, I'm not just making content. There are 500 million things that I have to take care of.
Yes.
Including, even recording this, how we're going to record it, how is it going to go out, what edits do I have to make? So I understand. And then you're saying that, so as a hygienist, I can understand your viewpoint, because we think, okay, this is the best way for us to do this. We've done this. I experimented this. This is it. I'm sticking to my system, which is good. But then you as a business owner might have a different idea, might have a different reason. So you're asking us to also ask that question to you. Why do you think that way? And kind of find a way to have a mutual, understanding, and be able for us to try it out as well. You're the business owner. I do also understand that it's our responsibility to make sure that you as a business owner perform your best as well.
Yes.
So,
and I would point out importantly that if I didn't think you were a good hygienist, I wouldn't even have this conversation with you. No, just because we have differences in this detail or that detail, we can totally come to a consensus. We just have to really hear each other instead of always building up walls and defenses.
Okay. I think it goes back to being able to be a good listener again to your patient, also to your own team member as well.
Correct.
That's really good. I love that you're sharing this right now, and I want to especially our new grads, to really absorb this, because if we have this mindset from the beginning, we're not going to go 10, 20 years having something that, that's not really working for us or together, us as an industry, as a family. So, having that flexible mindset, active listening, which I still need to work on. I did a DISC test, the personality test. I'm just very dominant. I'm like this, and we go forward, like I push. This is my style. So honestly, I'm not really an active listener. I know that.
Do you mind if I give you and your listeners a tip for that?
Yeah.
It's really simple.
Of course.
Okay. So if you're talking to me, you're the dentist and I'm the hygienist, okay? And you're like, listen, Laura, thank you, but I want you to do this one thing differently. Now, our brains want us to stay protected. That's their job. The brain is like, okay, we got to keep you safe, right? And so the brain's going to automatically put up defenses on the way that we've done things, right? We want the dentist to understand, but I've been doing it this way for these reasons, right? And I'm not saying whether those reasons are correct or not. I'm just saying, if you want to be an active listener and help your dentist be heard, then the first thing you're going to do is say, doctor, thank you for bringing me aside to tell me what's happening. I just want to say back to you what you said to me so that I can make sure I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
You just told me X, Y, Z. Is that correct? And then the doctor's going to go, thank you. Yes, that is what I am saying. And you didn't even make any promises to change. All you did was make sure you heard the doctor. That's the first thing. Everything else is easier if you do that.
It's actually a light bulb, because you're not even asking us to immediately implement what you're trying to do. You're as a business, you have so much going on in your head, and you're trying to just help the other party understand what goes in your mind. It's kind of like being a couple as well. You just want to be heard sometimes. And what you described sounds a little bit like that to me. So you're just, and also by listing the key points, saying you said this, and that, is both for you to listen again what you have communicated, and for the hygienist or the team member to be able to articulate it, kind of processes in their mind without like being pushy. I love it. So yes, next time if you guys want to have a conversation, and maybe for the hygienist too, because not all dentists are great at like pulling them aside and have a conversation either, right? So maybe it's us. What if we suggest, hey, can we have a 15-minute conversation outside of the operatory, just us? And then we can suggest, you can describe to me maybe better, because we have a little bit more time, what you were suggesting.
Yes. So this is another little tip I can give you. As a business owner, when somebody walks in at the end of the day and says, can I talk to you? I know. Like, my stress goes like this. But if you come to me and you say, listen, you and I have the same goals. And we both want to give the patients the best experience and the best health, right? Right. I've been wanting to pick your brain about something. And I was wondering if we could set aside some time to just chat about it. And then you've disarmed the dentist and you've given them a chance to sort of like not react. But just know we're going to talk about something, tomorrow or next week or whatever, during a time when the dentist is not feeling rushed.
Okay. I love that, because who wants to talk at the end of the day, number one? And then it just feels like an attack when you say, hey, can we talk right now? It feels like something bad is going to happen. So you're softening it with like, there's something I want to communicate to you. We have the same goal. So kind of always reaffirm that you are on the same page.
Yes.
You know what I hear? So I actually been to a sales training, because everything that I do, I just want to be better at it. So I thought sales training would give me more communication skills. And you know what? They always teach you that as well. If you want to sell better, whatever that is, you need to actively listen, and you need to find common grounds before you even jump to what you want. So totally applies everywhere then.
It does, even just selling your doctor on what it is that you want to change.
Sure. Okay. Laura, do you have like weekly meetings or monthly meetings and things like that with your staff?
We have twice daily meetings. We have a morning huddle and an evening huddle.
Wow. Okay.
At the evening huddle, and Guys, see if you can get your dentist to do this. It's so amazing. The team is in charge because I used to be in charge of the evening huddle, but I was so tired and I'd be like, Mom, I'm tired. But the team is in charge of the evening huddle. They announce the numbers for the day and they're in charge of thanking each person for something.
Oh, wow.
So all we do is we just celebrate what we accomplished with the day, thank each other, and then go home. And then in the morning, you know, it's more of a Mrs. Jones needs this. We have an opening here, blah, blah, blah. And then once a month we meet and just to coordinate ourselves, do housekeeping things and do some training on how to talk to our patients, stuff like that.
Oh, great. I actually really like the, you know, the days done huddle. Not, I mean, I've honestly never really seen that in that format that you described. Everybody's just ready to go home. But you set aside how much time? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then at the end of the day, everyone goes, does anybody need help with anything? Finishing anything?
I see. Okay.
Cleaning one room?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Mostly we leave together, although some people like to come early and some people like to stay late. But
okay. And those numbers you're talking about, so you're talking about like the production and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And
we have a bonus based on the collection. So we bonus as a team, not as individuals.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that way, you know, we're all in it together. We're succeeding together or we're failing together. And so we keep track of how much we collect every day.
I see. And can I ask, you know, so you're saying whether it's the dentist or the hygienist, the bonus gets in the big pool of like, you know, kind of someone do tips together. I see. Okay. Because, you know, to be as a hygienist and someone who's trying to influence the young grads, I tell them, you know, calculate your money well. You know what you're doing, how much you're producing. So then, you know, some offices give individual production-based bonuses. You know, it's all very different. Sometimes you want a little raise after working there for a few years and things like that. So does your hygienist also keep track of things like that, or you have a front office that does that for them?
We have our hygienists track, actually, instead of their production, they track the treatment that's been accepted from their columns. Because bottom line, that makes a bigger difference to the practice. So like it's very important when the hygienist does a full mouth series exam or, you know, radiographs or does fluoride varnish and all those things, those all add up. Yes. But it also adds up when they show those pictures to the patients and they say, Mrs. Jones, you have this cracked molar. And guess what? The next one up is also cracked.
I see.
What if we just treated those two together?
I see.
That type of discussion makes a huge difference in the bottom line. So that's actually what we track. But I think it's a good idea what you suggested, to have the hygienist, the individual hygienist, when they're asking for a raise, they can say, did you know that I added 200 fluoride treatments and 100 full mouth series last year, and it helped you net this number?
Exactly. Yeah. You know, it's also good for us as well. Just to, like anything in life, you want to keep track. Food, I'm sure you tell your clients to keep track of what they eat. It's good for the mind because we know where we are. It's like a good tracking system. It's like writing your own diary at the end of the day, and you need that for work as well.
Yes. And if you're tracking something, it's going to get better. If you ignore it, it's probably going to stay the same. So if you're a hygienist who really wants to add value in your practice, then track what you decide is important and you'll see it'll change.
Awesome. And one last question, Laura. I know you're very busy, but I just love talking to dentists as well, you know, because it actually gives us a perspective of what you guys need from us. You know, we can go to conferences, talk about ourselves the whole time, but at the end, we have to work with you. So my question would be, when the hygienist asks for a raise, I know money. And, you know, I love talking about money. It's not because I'm materialistic, because I think it's really important to be proficient and be confident in that subject as well. Have you had those scenarios when they come to you saying, Laura, I think, you know, I worked here for 5 years? Yeah.
So I have advice on that.
Yeah. We're listening.
You know, they never teach us how to be business owners in dental
Yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah.
And then we come in and we're owning this really complicated business, right? And our customers aren't the ones who pay us a lot of times because it's the third party that pays us. And we have to learn their game and we have to learn what the patients want. And we have our little fragile ego that we got to protect, you know, so many things.
It's so complicated.
Yeah. And when you say to me, Dr. Laura, I've been here for 5 years, and so I think I need a raise. What I think to myself is, okay, well, but the insurance companies are paying me less and blah, blah, blah. But if you came to me and you said, look at how much money I've made you.
Yeah.
And look how it's been going up every year, even though the insurance reimbursement's gone down, we've been working on ways to figure out around that. And have you ever noticed how many crowns come out of my operatory? Or implant supported dentures?
Yeah.
This is what is a compelling argument for getting a raise.
Yes, it's number based. It's not like emotional based. I've been here 5 years. Well, 5 years doesn't mean anything.
Not to a dentist who's trying to keep their practice afloat.
Yeah.
Numbers is what, and you know, and then the dentist can start thinking about, well, what would happen to my production if Claire decided to go work somewhere else?
Yeah. Love it. This is just simple, but that goes back to tracking. You need to find a tracking system for yourself. Just record how many sealants you do. You know, even if sealants are not expensive, but as you said, it adds up over.
It adds up. Pennies make dollars.
Yeah. Penny makes dollars, and then big crowns especially. I mean, things like that. You keep track. You know, some of the workshops I do, I give them a very simple Excel sheet to say, like, just punch in like how many things you do, like this, and that, just to have a. And every state is different, how much they pay and things like that. But it's really just a number that we are keeping track of. But I love it that you said that as a dentist, saying what makes you feel like you want to listen to that argument. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, as a dentist, you're not going to wake up someday saying, I think everybody needs a raise.
No, we live in fear that we're not going to be able to make payroll.
Yes. Yeah.
So in order for us to not have that fear, we need to see that you are changing the bottom line. You're helping me. So you're an asset, helping me with my bottom line.
I see. Oh, I mean, I love this conversation because it's so honest. It's really what we need, you know, not just like, hey, go like talk more about patients' education. That's great. But what we really need to take care of our own career, and it involves money, you know? Okay. So guys, everybody, you know, this is how you're going to present it to your dentist. And you're not going to say, hey, I want to, you know, can I talk to you for 5 minutes at the end of the day? You're going to try to schedule a meeting so that you're both like mentally prepared as well.
Yes.
And start soft with finding common grounds.
Yes, absolutely.
And then showing some proof and repeating what each other said to kind of make sure that everybody understands. Yeah.
Say it back.
Wow.
When you say it back, you're not saying that you agree. You're just saying what they said. Okay, it's wonderful.
All right. Wow. I mean, I learned already so much because, as I said again, as a hygienist, we can talk about things all the time, but we are not the person responsible like you who need to make payroll, who need to make sure that the supplies are ordered, that we have enough money in the bank to do that. You know, so, you know, I really always appreciate dentists who became their own, you know, practice owner, because I said dental school didn't prepare you for that, right? Yeah. Did you even have a class about like business or like people management? No. Right. No. What made you like want to jump into like ownership though?
Oh, well, naivety, probably.
Being brave.
I was a mom. I had 3 children when I graduated from dental school, and I felt like I really needed to hurry up and make some serious money. I felt like I was behind the power curve, if that makes sense.
Okay.
My oldest was already partway through elementary school, so I only had so much time before she was going to start college.
Okay. Understand. So you're like, owning would be great. How did you hire your hygienist? Do you find them online? Do you find them through referrals?
I usually try to see if my hygiene that I currently have a friend who wants to come work for me. And if
Okay.
that doesn't work out, then I usually go on Indeed, actually.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. And yeah, there are a lot of other options out there too. But depending on where you are, those app services might or might not be. But you like to have even friends working together. Do you think
Sure.
that's good? It's like good vibe.
Usually. I mean, if I'm noticing that there's a lot of negativity passing
Mhm.
between any two of my employees, I'm going to take them aside because we have a rule in
Mhm.
our office that if you are going to complain to somebody, it has to be to the person who can do something about it.
Okay, not just yeah. Not. Oh, okay. It seems like you really implemented some really good rules. I mean, a great environment in your office. And I love just even hearing about it because I hear from lots of people and myself as well, working that, not every environment is the same.
Mhm.
But I feel like as a hygienist, we still have some sort of power to make that change. And that starts with kind of having those conversations with the dentist, being able to listen more.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you find yourself in an environment that's not being supportive of you,
Yeah.
it's okay to go find a new environment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can change what you can change and you can
Yeah.
try that. But if you're finding yourself unappreciated, it's okay.
Yeah. It's
Go
okay.
somewhere where you can be treated nicely.
Yeah.
You
That's
have
good
that
advice too, because I think number one, why we do not do that is probably fear
power.
of
Change.
yeah, change. As you said, our brain is not designed to we want to
No.
be safe. That's number one rule. That's the very bottom of all of us. We want to be safe. So that feels like a change is kind of something uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So that's
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. But you're saying it's okay. There are about 300,000 dentists in the United States. So there's
Yeah.
someone else, right?
Find someone who has a similar philosophy that you do. You
Okay.
worked hard to get where you want, and you want to be able to
Mhm.
take a deep breath and enjoy being at work.
Okay, okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for all the great advice today.
Mhm.
Oh, and thanks for giving us a little bit about the food tip as well. It actually makes me, I tried not to, but I didn't really know why. Everybody tells you like processed food is not good for you, but I didn't know why until today.
Episode 3, 4, and 5 of my podcast
Okay.
go over that.
Okay.
Well, I think it's 3. It starts with why I was overweight. That's the episode that you want to start with if you want to listen to the food ones.
And you share your real experience.
Yes.
Ah,
Mhm.
you're so good. All right, guys, everybody listen to the podcast. Go find Laura. And
Mhm.
thank you again so much for being a great resource for us dental hygienists. All the
Thank
great
you,
things you
Claire. Thanks
said.
for
All right.
having me on.
All right, well, I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right.